This is Ruben, Dudes and Friends. We remixed those two dudes, but I had to bring back that other dude, Josh. What
What's
up,
up?
Josh? I know we're around Christmas time. This is your Christmas. We're talking college football. This is your everything. This is
Yeah.
this is why we're here. This is why all this exists to talk college football, to talk minor league teams in the playoffs. The games start this weekend. So, all right. So, look, let's not waste any time. Let's dive into it because I'm sure you love the standings. You love the teams in it. You'd probably throw Texas State in there somewhere if you could. Dude, walk me through it. So, did they get the 12 best teams?
Hold on, before we go there, it's not just playoff time, it's bowl season too, baby. Let's go. Eat them up. Oh, wait, is that a thing still? Are we still doing bowl games or
Oh,
is
I
that
didn't
like
even think about
a
that. We were
story?
just talking about this how the bowl game was on today and there was about 15 people there. The USF
Yeah.
Old Dominion game.
Sad shame,
Hey,
man.
hold on, real quick. Is I keep reading bowl games. Are they just straight up dying? Is that a dying thing now?
I think it feels like they're trying to push them out. It feels like part of it's happening naturally with just the rules and the landscape of college football right now. But it feels like I feel like the TV people want bowl games to go away, but they don't necessarily know what to do to replace them yet. What are you feeling? What do you have you heard
Man,
anybody
that's
say
so
anything?
unfortunate if they do get away if they do go away with bowl games. I think if they do, like, I think if they do to offset because selfishly, and I think you can agree, like when I think of getting rid of bowl games, I think of getting rid of the Alamo Bowl. And the Alamo Bowl in San Antonio is, it's not the top bowl, but it's always had good teams in it. The
Yeah,
Alamo Bowl produces so much for the city of San Antonio.
right.
Um,
All these bowl games do for all these cities that
yeah, and so like I think about that and think about like the Alamo Dome as a whole, not hosting the Alamo Bowl. What does that do to the Alamo Dome? What does that do to other sporting events going into San Antonio? I don't know. That's a separate conversation. If they get rid of the bowl games, which I think is so unfortunate, but having all these teams opt out this season is so embarrassing. Uh,
yeah,
I hate it. I hate that they did that. I'm not even I Notre Dame, I 1% understand. They were shell shocked. They felt that they should have gotten the playoffs, and obviously, in some regard, maybe they should have. They didn't. So they said, screw it, we're not doing bowl games. I don't understand why Rutgers opted out. I don't understand why Iowa State, Kansas State, Baylor. I don't understand why they opted
yeah.
out.
Why don't they want these extra practices? Why don't they want to play one more game for their seniors? I don't like that. That used to be what it was all about, college football, and I think it also not only that. I think it just sets a bad example just for people, especially like kids and stuff. Like it just has such a quitting mentality to it. It seems like you have you're given this other opportunity to play another game. For the seniors, it might be their last game ever to be possibly to play football because a lot of them won't go to the NFL. And you're just saying, nah, we're good. We don't want to play. So yeah, I don't like. It rubs me the wrong way, and I don't understand it honestly.
I
I,
don't
I did see that Louisiana's coach, smaller conference, Sun Belt coach, came out and he was like, "That's not us." He's like, "Anytime we're offered a bowl game, it's given it basically what I was saying. It's giving our kids, our seniors, one more chance to play. It's giving us 15 more practices for those younger players to grow. We're going to play any bowl game we've earned." So,
Okay, you know who else said that? Those very same words, two SEC schools, Vanderbilt and Texas.
oh,
Steve
really?
Sarkisian said that again, that they are honored to play in any bowl game that would have them play. And so they're playing in the Citrus Bowl and they plan on playing everybody. So, dude, like, again, right?
Yeah.
Shout out those two schools, and I know everybody else is playing. Again, like you said, this is about the seniors. This is about the last time that majority of these guys will ever play football again.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, no, I appreciate that. As much as I rag on Texas and stuff, that's for them, for a program like them to opt in and say that's how they're going to approach these bowl games.
That's setting the
I
example.
appreciate that. But yeah, man, I like bowl games, but It feels like they have less meaning now, and I get the sense that they're going to be pushed out. I heard something about maybe replacing putting bowl games at the beginning of the season, but I don't really understand that
I heard that too. That
how that
doesn't make any
works.
sense.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like you're going to have a whole different team, and you're going to play the bowl game the first game of the season. Like that doesn't make sense to me. But
Yeah,
I
that
don't
don't
know.
make sense. I mean, again, so I think if you're gonna get rid of bowl games, I mean, the only reason that you should get rid of bowl games is if you expand the playoffs to 24.
Right. Or what I think, if we're going to do like college basketball tournament style college football playoffs, you might as well, you could use some of those games as bowl
That's
games.
what that was my point. That was my point is to use the Alamo Bowl as like the second round of
Right.
the play, and then use.
I did think that we had too many bowl games in the first place. So I don't mind if some of them goes away, but for the a lot of them need to be there, just for these cities to generate money, just to give these kids extra practices, whatever, and seniors one more chance to play with their team. And I think they're just good to have these bowl games during the holiday season when people are off of school and people are getting more time off from work. Like it's good to have these games. It's nice. So, and I know that the TV, they're not going to go away until they find something to replace them with because they do generate money too, for these TV networks, ESPN
Yeah, you
especially.
can't just get rid of it. Something has to supplement that. And I know, and
Right.
I mean, they've just been ideas. It's not even a rumor. It was just a fun idea that they talked about doing like the NIT version of college football. It's just a fun concept. Do you think that
Yep.
has any merit? Do you think that'd be worth it to
I
do
would
that?
enjoy it. I would like that. I mean, but I don't know. Again, I don't know like opt outs. Like, would people still opt out of that just like it was a bowl game? I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
so.
yeah.
To the same extent as a bowl game, maybe not.
Because I've seen
Maybe
I've
more
seen
maybe.
opt-outs in the NIT in college basketball.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, will there still be opt outs on an NIT style college football playoff thing? Yeah, probably so. I don't. I wonder if more would play though than the actual just a one off bowl game. I don't know.
Dude, I don't know.
And also, not only that, moving forward, eventually there's gonna be rules. Eventually, who knows if it's 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the road, once they get these student athletes locked into deals and whatnot, they probably won't be able to as easily opt out of games like these. You
I
know?
mean, they were fine. Like the Big 12 fined those schools that are missing a significant amount, and rightfully so. So I appreciate the commissioner taking a stand.
Yeah, I like that too. And
Um,
so eventually, the schools they don't want to pay all this money, so they're going to have to do something to get these players to lock in and agree to play to these games. So I think that will happen eventually. And yeah, so if that does happen, then yeah, I could see like maybe a 2014 actual playoff and maybe a 2014 NIT style playoff and replace the bowl games with both of those. And I think that would work well. I don't know. Let's talk about the actual current playoff going on.
all right, let's talk about it. All right, so look, your game of the week. Well, actually, hold on. Opening game. Let's start here. Opening game, because opening game is Friday. It's Oklahoma and Alabama. This is an 8-9 matchup. They just played recently, not that long ago, in Alabama, where Oklahoma won. Um, and they played last year in Norman. Oklahoma steamrolled Alabama when and that effectively knocked Alabama out of playoff contention last year. So I mean, who wins this matchup?
Oh
It's
man, bro.
it's the line's Oklahoma 1.5.
Yeah, that sounds about
It's
right.
basically a pick 'em.
This feels like a toss-up game. I, I feel like I'm gonna lean Oklahoma. I feel like first of all, I don't even think Alabama should be in the playoff.
I don't
Second,
either. I don't either.
it seems like they just kind of limped their way into the playoff. If they were in any conference other than the SEC, I
They
don't
didn't limp their way in the playoffs. The committee ignored anything that happened last
think.
Sunday and said, regardless of what
Oh,
happens to
forget
Alabama,
and not
they're
just
getting
last
in.
Sunday. Remember they hopped. I think it was they
Or two
hopped
Sundays ago.
Notre Dame 2 weeks ago or
Yeah.
something by barely scraping by a 5-7 Auburn team. and they use that as the reason for them hopping Notre. That doesn't even make sense. The committee, that's a whole different thing. But
Yeah,
anyway,
and we heard them talk about it, saying that it was between the decision wasn't about Miami, it was about Notre Dame and Alabama. Why is that the conversation? Why was that already predetermined that that was what the conversation is about?
yeah.
That makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it either. But there's a lot of things with the committee I don't get. I don't think it's all on the up and up either. I think a lot of it has to do with TV and ESPN and all that. But nonetheless, if we're just talking about the game, I feel like Oklahoma's just a little I don't know. I feel like they're a little stronger right now. I think Alabama's limped their way into the playoffs. They barely beat Auburn. They got whooped by Georgia. Um, they even, I mean, even
Who
early
got?
in
Oh
the
yeah, they got
season,
whooped by Georgia in the
they
SEC.
they they lost to a very bad Florida State team to start the season. So I don't know. I don't really know how good this Alabama team is, to be honest. So I'm going to take Oklahoma.
You know, I would never root for Oklahoma, obviously, being a big UT guy. I have many reasons to root for OU this week. Number one, UT beat them on a neutral field, which is still wild to me. I still can't believe that happened. But also, yeah, nobody is having the conversation. All people are saying UT got left out because they lost to Florida. Nobody, not enough people are talking about Bama lost to Florida State,
It's
and
not. It's an
Florida
afterthought.
bounced Florida State. They in the last week of the season. So I don't nobody's talking about that, right? Nobody wants to have that conversation. It's just all about Bama.
They want to bury that as
Yep.
far as they can. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
it's got a peep on ESPN. Yeah.
So, okay,
Yeah.
honestly, you're right, and I also did read. I don't obviously for obvious reasons I don't follow Sooner football. Um, Sooners, they were for the last month, they've been out their best defensive player, like one of their linebackers, and he's coming back this week.
Interesting. Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, I gotta go Oklahoma on this one.
Yeah. Okay. So we agree. We agree on that one.
All right, so that's the 9-8 matchup. Let's talk about your 5-12, your James Madison University, Oregon, which real quick, people need to stop the narrative that Tulane and JMU shouldn't have gotten in. It was never about the decision was never about should they get in or should they not get in. They met the criteria. It was always about the decision between Bama, Miami, and Notre Dame. It was never about
I feel
James.
like a lot of people, specifically the ACC, were hurt that JMU got in over their conference champion, and they felt like they needed to come to the rescue of the
I
ACC. I guess.
I get it, but you can't put Notre Dame in over Miami. You can't.
No. Yeah, you can't. No,
So again, right?
head to
Like
head has
that's
to matter. That's got to be in sports. It's got that's got to be the first tiebreaker.
in that regard, the committee got it right. Miami should be in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Again,
I
right?
agree.
If you're comparing it to Notre Dame, Miami should be in.
Right, but the problem is they had like Notre Dame way up here and Miami way back here, and then somehow they just closed the gap.
Yeah, and
You
look,
know, like
and in so many reasons, right? The committee, I think the committee did Notre Dame a disservice weeks ago by putting Notre Dame ahead of Miami so many weeks in a row. And
right,
then when they don't play, you want to then put them over.
yeah,
That's on the committee for leading Notre Dame into thinking that they were going to get
yeah.
in this entire time.
I remember the early in the season. eh, First, I mean, before even the committee gets involved, because they don't get involved until like I don't know what
Week
week,
7 or
week
something.
7, yeah, something like that. But early in the season, they start the season off 0-2, and I'm like, why are they still ranked? Like they shouldn't even be ranked. If they earned their way back into the rankings, fine. But how can you be 0-2 and still in the top 25? Like you've done nothing to earn it. We have teams that have already played games, won games. They should be in the top 25. If Notre Dame works their way back up there, fine. So if they would have just fell further like they should have, or not just been in the top 25 just because they're Notre Dame, then they would have worked their way back in the top 25 eventually, but they would have never worked their way up to the as high as they were, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, by just keeping them up there at that high after losing 2 games, then yeah, you kind of just put them in a
I
situation
mean,
where you look stupid at the
we're
end.
going to have this conversation again all over again next season because Notre Dame has a half-ass schedule. They're going to lose one, maybe two games. and we're gonna have the same argument all over again. Uh,
Maybe. I haven't looked at their schedule, but uh, Notre Dame, they also put in some clause or some rule where if they're in the top 12, they automatically get a spot to the playoffs now. Did you see that?
I did see that. Yeah,
And
absolutely
then
not.
now another rule is they're putting in supposedly is that all Power Four conferences get a champions get an automatic berth. So JMU would have not have gotten in. Basically, Duke would have gotten over them at 8-5 with this new rule.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah,
I think they're gonna expand it next season.
next season, yeah, I think so too. So I guess the
What,
Notre Dame
16?
rule would be like it wouldn't matter at that point, I guess.
Well, they'd have
Uh,
to be in the top 16, which with Notre Dame and their history and their schedule, if they should be finishing in the top 15 every year.
I
So
guess, but if they lose two games to their, you know, the best opponents they have, and then they don't beat anybody else that's that good, then I mean, why do they get special treatment to get back in the top 10? And whereas basically, if a small school like let's say JMU, if they went undefeated, you could still see them at like 18, even if they beat like like a Duke or something like that. And
yeah,
Notre Dame, they could lose to their two good teams. Oh,
I'm looking at Notre Dame's schedule right now for next season.
well, they got
Nobody. Absolutely nobody.
oh come
They
on,
have a game at Packers Stadium against Wisconsin. They're
it's,
trash.
yeah,
They got Rice, so that's basically a bye. They got Michigan State. These are at home, but mind you, Michigan State
okay,
that's a win. They got at Purdue, that's a win.
yeah,
At North Carolina, that's a win. A home game against Navy, that's a win. They have a home game against Miami. I don't think Miami's going to be as good next year. I could be wrong.
yeah. So Miami, well, they got Miami, USC. Is that
They
their?
got Miami, USC both at home.
Hmm,
The only the dude, they only have 3 road games next year.
that's not real.
They
You're
have
lying.
at North Carolina, at Purdue, and at Syracuse. The Navy game and the Wisconsin game are at neutral sites.
Wow.
They're gonna go undefeated, and they're not. They're gonna be the worst 12-0 team in football.
Nah, bro, they're not going undefeated. They always find a way to lose one game. Who knows who's that's gonna be to, but
Maybe
they're gonna
USC.
lose.
I don't know how good USC is gonna be. I feel like USC has to be good next year, or Lincoln Riley's gonna get fired.
But the biggest thing is they're gonna find a way to lose one of those games and still be end up in the top 10 somehow. Who knows how they get that special treatment, but they do. So I don't know. But whatever.
All right.
Anyways,
So
uh
okay, so JMU, well, all I know that we were kind of just derailing the conversation. JMU, they got Oregon this week. I mean, the line is I think like 21 or something like that.
21, yeah, 21 and a half, something like that. Yeah.
First of all, I'm not going to ask you who wins. We know Oregon's going to win. Is JMU going to cover? And also, is it important that they cover to give the G5 a good look?
I don't know. It depends how all the other games go because look, on average, over all the existence of the college football playoff, the G5s, the what, 1, 2 that have made it now, the margin of their defeats have been less than the average margin of defeats of all the other college football playoff.
I understand that. I understand that you're not wrong, but nobody's going to care about that.
Well, those are the facts. So, I mean, whatever. People could come to the
Yeah.
conclusion they want, but that's the truth of it. There's been blowouts in national championships. There's been blowouts in first round games, and so I don't know. I think as long as one of these two games is close, somewhat close, I think that's fine. And as long as not all the other games are super tight, which I don't think they will be, somebody will get blown out. Then it doesn't really matter. But I think JMU, I do think they're a really good football team. I think they're strong on offense and defense. But I don't know, Oregon's got a different kind of athlete. So I don't know. I honestly didn't watch. I don't know if I've seen much of Oregon at all this year. But just typically what I know Oregon to be, it could be tough.
A typical Dan Lanning led team
Yeah,
that could be tough, and they got Dante Moore, who's playing really good. He's projected to be one of the top QBs drafted.
yeah.
So
I'm
he
interested to see because I do like JMU's defense and I do like their quarterback and their offense, the running back as well. Um, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to say they cover. I'm going to say they cover, but I don't know.
okay. Okay. All right. I don't think that they do.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I mean, look, JMU's been crushing teams, and with somebody with their schedule and how they've played people, I don't have a problem with them being in the playoffs. Um, it's going to be perceived pretty bad if they get whooped by Oregon.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then look, that leads me to my next game, Tulane and Ole Miss, who played earlier in the season at Ole Miss, and Ole Miss beat them by 35. Now the line I think is only what, 14? Something like that?
I think it was 17. Did it go down to
I
16
don't
now?
know. I can double check. I think that was just I saw that once upon a time. The line is 17 and a half.
Okay. Yeah, it's an interesting line considering how bad Ole Miss beat them the first time. And when I see interesting lines like this, I typically think it's going to go the other way. So if I had to guess, I'd take Tulane to cover, but I don't know why. I don't why is that line what it is? Just because Kiffin's gone? I don't
I
know.
think it could be because they have some internal change, right? And I think I would personally say that Ole Miss has something to prove because of the Lane Kiffin situation, and
You could
also
say that, but
this game being in
these
Oxford.
half of these players got 1 foot out the door themselves at this point. So I don't know. You would hope that's the mentality, but you never know at this day and age with college football because their coach is gone. These kids are talking to other teams all over the country right now. So yeah and no maybe, but I do think first of all that was earlier in the season. Tulane's quarterback had just got to the team. He was BYU's quarterback
Mhm.
last year. Got
Mhm.
kicked off the team and he just landed at Tulane last second, like literally last second before the season started. So he's had a full season now with his team and the offense, and so they said that was one of the like about as bad as they could have played. So I do think Tulane has weapons too. I think probably Tulane probably has better athletes than JMU. Um, and the one concern I just said that Tulane's quarterback just got there. I don't know if he's a good enough passer to make this a very competitive game. That's my one concern.
Oh,
That's my biggest concern, anyways. There's other
okay.
concerns like Miss's offense is elite, but I think Tulane's got a pretty solid squad. But I'm concerned about quarterback play in this
Uh,
game.
Okay. I mean, Ole Miss has seemingly gotten better too throughout the season. Their one loss was at Georgia, and it was a close game. So I mean, dude, that's just a good football team. Now, I again, right, the asterisk.
They did barely beat Washington State in the middle of the season for some reason. I watched that game.
Yeah, they beat them by 3, and they lost a one possession game at Georgia the following week, but they won at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Um, pretty convinced. Well, they won by 8, but they were up majority of the game.
Who else
Uh,
did they beat? What are their other top wins?
let's see here. They they beat Georgia State by 56.
Georgia State's one of the worst
They
teams.
won at Kentucky. They won a home game against LSU. LSU was 4 at the time. At Oklahoma, home game against South Carolina. They beat them by 16. Ooh, South Carolina was still, we don't know yet. They beat Florida at home. They won at Mississippi State.
It doesn't
So
seem like they
an
have very.
average SEC schedule. Not bad, not great.
Yeah, yeah, not great. I mean, what outside of Oklahoma, they didn't beat anybody too good, right? I mean, it doesn't sound like it. They struggle with Washington State. I mean, the only thing, the biggest red flag for me is that they've already whooped Tulane this year. So I don't know. Like, if this game was like a first time matchup, I'd probably be feeling pretty decent if I was a Tulane fan because I like what they have and the fact that Ole Miss's coach is gone and probably the players got 1 foot out the door. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna say they cover, just because the main reason I'm saying they cover is because when I see suspicious lines like this, it usually goes the other way. So
All right. Well, I got Ole Miss. We both have Ole Miss. That's what we're saying?
yeah, yeah, I'll take them.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. Just want to make sure we're on the same page. And then other game. This is another good one. A&M in Miami in College Station. The line I think I saw was 3.5 for A&M. Um, but I've seen a lot of people say that, it's kind of like 50-50. Miami could win this game. And I don't know, man. I kind of want to take Miami in this one. And I don't know if that's just me being an A&M hater or if again, right, like Miami, like they're like their losses, I wouldn't say they're terrible losses. Um, like they lost at SMU, who like SMU, they weren't, they're not ranked, but or like they're not that's not a terrible team. They did lose a home game against Louisville.
This is what I'll
That's
say. Miami has never played. I mean, where's the toughest game they've played at this year? They haven't played in a stadium like College Station. There's no
well,
way.
so they their first game of the year they played Notre Dame.
Where
Uh,
at?
that was in Miami.
Okay,
It was
yeah.
I mean, electric environment. I mean, I'm looking here. I mean, they played at Pitt. That was college game day was there, and they beat Pitt by 31.
Yeah,
So
well, first of all, Pitt's not that good. They were overranked. Secondly,
yes,
that
in terms of
atmosphere
who Miami has
nowhere
beaten, not
near
a
the
lot of people.
atmosphere they're about to run into. I they went to SMU. You go to Dallas and play in SMU's 30,000 seat stadium and you can't beat them. I'm not picking you to go to College Station and beat A&M.
Okay, well then I'm gonna phrase it to the other way. Who has A&M played that's any good?
I mean, they're in the SEC. They've at least played in these kind of atmospheres on a consistent basis. And I mean, well, they went 11-1. Yeah, man, come on, bro. First of all, I think they should be ranked higher. They lost one game and they drop all the way to what, the seventh spot, I think it is. Like,
Well,
ah,
the
and
only other, I mean, the
they
only
finally
teams
got
ahead of
them
them were Oregon and Ole
and they
Miss.
got them a nice quarterback finally. So what Marcel Reed, right? That's the kid's
Yeah,
name.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they got a nice quarterback. It's in College Station. Is it a night game?
It's an 11 a.m. game.
Oh, it's an early game. Okay, but either way, yeah, in College Station. Yeah, look, SMU beat Miami. Who else beat Miami? Somebody else not so good beat Miami.
Louisville.
Louisville. So two mid teams beat Miami. Nah, bro, I'm not. I'm taking A&M. I don't like A&M either. So, but yeah, I'm taking A&M.
All right. The odds opened at A&M -4. Now they're at 3.5.
That's a little interesting.
I'm gonna take Miami just because I'm being a hater. But I could see it either way. Who? I mean, okay. Well, tell me who do you think could make a like who that's not Indiana or Ohio State? Who could make a run to the championship?
Texas Tech, they're stacked. I mean, I hate Texas Tech. I hate everything they're about. But look, that rich dude Cody Campbell over there, that oil guy that used to play for them, by the way,
Yeah. Yep.
he's put himself the hell of a roster over there. So both sides of the ball, defense and offense. Used to back in the day, Texas Tech always had that offense, but their defense they couldn't
Oh,
stop
yeah,
any.
they had the thing, right, where the saying where they could score 50 but give up 55.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah,
Texas Tech. Not
that's
no
Texas
more.
Tech.
They bought themselves a defense to go along with that offense. So yeah, that would be my, I guess, sleeper, if you want to call it. That would be a sleeper team, Texas Tech, to look out for. Somebody
Okay.
out of not the
Well,
SEC or Big Ten.
not to write it in stone, but that their Texas Tech first matchup is seemingly going to be Oregon.
Oh yeah, right.
And
Yeah,
that is going to be a heck of a game.
yeah, I think so too. But if we're talking about who has the best chance of being a sleeper or underdog coming out of nowhere, I would say Tech, because you can't say that about Oregon or a lot of these other teams. You can't even say that about Indiana now because they beat Ohio State to be in the Big Ten championships,
Indiana beat Ohio State, and then they won at Oregon.
and it beat, yeah. So yeah, they're the only undefeated team in the entire country. So
Yep. Yep.
you can't say that about them either. Usually you would be able to, but no. So yeah, I would say Texas Tech. Who do you got? Any other? I mean, I'm trying to think of anybody else that could be.
Dude, I mean, I'm gonna be real. Like, I know I said not to say no beside Indiana and Ohio State. To have Indiana in the national championship, it's like
I
that's
mean,
like
that would
mind
be
blowing,
something. Yeah, I'd
right?
rather
Like,
them over all them other teams, but
um,
not like a sleeper. It's not a surprise.
truthfully, I think Oregon or Tech. I think, and again, this is just being naive of Indiana and still not understanding how good they are. I could see Oregon or Tech going to the finals
Oregon or Tech. I mean, okay, if Oregon does, that's
because either one of them has to go through Indiana, assuming Indiana beats the winner of OU and Bama.
fine. Another. I mean, another team. I mean, if Alabama or Oklahoma, that would. I mean, that would surprise me if either one of them. I don't think neither of them are that good. So
I don't either. Not enough to get through Indiana, but again, right? Like, it's crazy that we're just like, is Indiana good? Even though they're the only undefeated team in the country and they won at Oregon, at or neutral site against Ohio State, and they won at Penn State, which Penn State's not a great team, but to win at Penn State is still hard.
yeah, no, I'm past that point. I know Indiana's good, and they got one of the best coaches in the country. But
And they
I
got the
don't.
Heisman Trophy winner.
And they got the Heisman Trophy winner now. I don't know that they have the same elite talent as somebody like Ohio State.
Hmm.
Like we'll see in the NFL draft, like if they have that
Ohio State just has
talent. But
NFL talent all over the defense.
they got enough talent with great coaching to be a great team. So that's all that really matters at the end of the day. We're not playing in the NFL, we're playing college football. So kudos to them for putting themselves together a hell of a program over there under Kurt Signetti. Side note, just a little thing before we go off. Did you see Kirk Herbstreit get roasted for saying there was no college football this past weekend?
I did not. What do you say?
Yeah, well, he basically,
He
I guess,
dismissed the Army Navy game.
on a podcast, on a podcast, I think with Joey Galloway, he said something about I don't know not having no college football this weekend or whatever, and yeah, I think Army or Navy, one of them reacted to saying that. He deleted his post, bro. He was getting dragged, by the way. I think the Army Navy game had a viewing audience of about 7 or 8 million people, one of the highest, of the season. So
Uh,
when
it- Man, look, are we just numb? Or is that or numb to the idea that they get their own week, so that's the only game on TV, so people are just like wanting to watch football to watch it, not that they actually care about the game. The
nah,
Army and
I,
Navy will never make an attempt to actually be good at football.
they are good. Navy was
No,
ranked
they I'm
top
not saying that they
25.
aren't
They,
good.
they,
They're not
they,
they're not making an attempt to be good, to be a national contender.
nah, they can't. I mean, they could, I guess, but they would have to change the rules and policies and all that stuff, which I guess they're not willing to do that. They don't do NIL. They don't do NIL. I don't think they do the transfer portal either.
I
So
don't think so.
it kind of sucks because they can get players stolen from them, but they can't go get players elsewhere. So they
Yeah.
don't do the transfer or the NIL thing. So yeah, and it's tough too because I think there's like size restrictions if you join the Army or Navy, right? In general, there's like you can only be so big. I
Shit.
think this is the
I
case.
did not know that.
No, I think this is the case. So if you look at their like linemen and stuff, they're smaller than normal, which hurts them. If they could just get a decent line, I think they could probably make a run, bro.
Wait, so you mean to tell me they can't get like a 6'5" receiver out there to just start throwing like
I
ghosts?
think 6'5" is all right, but I think the weight's an issue. I know when David Robinson went to the Navy back in the day, there was a little issue, I think, with that as well, with his height, because he was so tall. But I don't know. You'd have to double check. You'd have to
So what
fact
are
check.
we doing? What are we like? Is this game overrated? This Army Navy
No,
game?
I wouldn't say it is, man. It's the Army Navy. Like,
And
first of all,
what does that mean? Why do they get their own week?
these are historic programs. I mean, Army won the national champ. Yes, it's been decades ago, but they won national champions. They've had Heisman, and then it's just Army Navy. Outside of that, not only do they have history, but it's Army Navy. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's cool that they get their own weekend. I'd rather them move it forward, because they need to start moving the playoff earlier, so we're not finishing like in 2026 or whatever. So I do wish they would have a standalone game on Thanksgiving Day. That's when I wish they would have their
On
standalone.
Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, the NFL games are fine. Wait, we only have like one other college game on Thanksgiving Day, I think. So
I
yeah,
know
put
we got a bunch of games that Friday. I don't know about
right on
Thanksgiving
Friday,
Day.
but on Thanksgiving Day we should have
But
the Army Navy game.
but you do compete with the NFL on Thanksgiving
That's
Day,
fine. They could have like a time slot that's when's the first NFL game? Like 12 or something like that.
like
Yeah,
11, 12 o'clock, and then you have the next one around 2:30,
let
3:30.
let them kick off at 10 a.m. sharp or
They
something.
could make it a night game. Nobody really cares about the night game on Thanksgiving.
Right. Yeah, or that. Either evening game or early morning game. Either way, give them a time slot, let it be the only college football game of the day. And we could move they really do want to move the start of the playoffs and all that earlier.
Mhm.
Because look, it's rolling into January. You
Wait,
got the
so
transfer portal that opens on January 2nd now, and it's only
so
transfer portal.
let me ask you then, are and this is a whole nother conversation, right? Are we going to be getting rid of conference championship games?
Um Again, same thing with bowls. They got to find something to replace it with. So
Well, I
it's
mean,
talked about.
in order to replace it, you are replacing it. You're just replacing it with more playoff games, right? All this is assuming you're adding more playoff teams and adding more playoff games
I'm okay with it.
to
I'm
get rid
okay
of
with them.
conference championship
Look,
games.
but the problem with here's another problem though. You got these conferences that are so large. So how can you crown a real conference champion without a conference championship game if they're not even playing each other? There's so much stuff they got to fix in college football, but I don't know. Still fun to watch. So until they do, let the madness continue, I guess.
Well, look forward to it, man. Saturday, Friday, Saturday. Are there any Sunday games? No, it's just Friday and Saturday, right?
Yeah, playoffs, anyways. Yeah, Friday.
Dude, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Go Oregon. Go you. I don't want to hear about Bama anymore. Um,
Go JMU, go Tulane. That's all I care about. If one of them pulls the upset of the century, y'all will never hear the end of it from me. I guarantee it.
oh man. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure we'll do a recap next week or something and just, talk about the results and, where we're at with that. But this was fun. We'll get more going. I know Brandon will want to hop on one of these episodes here soon, but we'll do recaps, man. We'll talk all the way through and we'll see if we can get Herb Street on to talk and to clarify his Army Navy views, see what he thinks. But it's been real, man. That Ruben, that dude Josh, catch you guys. Do oh yeah, do all them like and subscribes and all those things, all
Yes.
those buttons. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, tell your friends, neighbors, everything in between. We'll catch y'all on the next episode.